Okay. If Dylan and Kyle, if you two want to unmute, you can, but I guess you don't have to because this is mostly going to be discussions. So if y'all want to chime in, um, let's see. Okay, so I guess the first thing that I was planning on doing is just talking about like the coronavirus, um, which is obviously like the big topic right now. I think that this is like such an unprecedented time, right? This is probably um, like this period's probably going to be in the history books. So it's pretty insane that we're living through it right now. And I was thinking about how the coronavirus definitely raises some like ethical concerns. Um, and I sent some of those in an email, I think, to people on the Teen Civic Engagement Program email list, but I don't think that Kyle got it. I don't think Kyle, you're not on the email list, right, for the Teen Civic Engagement Program?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So, I guess one of the first questions that I wanted to talk about is what did you guys think about the school's decision to close school at that time? Like, was it okay to close school when it did close the school, or should the school have closed school earlier? Um, and I guess before y'all answer, I think the main ethical concern here is not just about whether or not we would have been able to prevent coronavirus, but also like what degree of uncertainty is should be allowed in these like large scale decisions. For example, if the school was closed earlier, would that have unnecessarily damaged people, especially like low income people, or would the like trade off be good because less people die that way? So who has any thoughts on this?
I think there was already a case or several cases in Palo Alto
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
where I
there were.
live. So yeah, it was probably a good idea then.
To close it
But
earlier?
yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I also believe, yeah.
Well, we have to operate without the knowledge that like the coronavirus would have become this big, right? Because I guess at that time there was still uncertainty as to were they just some isolated cases or would it actually become terrible?
Yeah, because I think the schools just followed the county guidelines after Santa Clara mandated that we had to close.
Yeah, it's funny
But
actually because the school sent out that they were not going to close like a day before.
Yeah, and then the county immediately said they were closing.
Yeah. So like, what amount of risk do you guys think is appropriate to close school? Like, do you have to have a certain amount of percentage of risk, like 50% chance that the coronavirus become big, or is it acceptable to close school like with very high risk only? Dylan, did you say something? You're muted.
he says his brother's shouting.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my brother's shouting upstairs, so I have nowhere to go.
Oh, that's funny.
Project.
I'm in garage. I'll be here.
Okay. Did you hear the question?
No, because he was shouting.
Okay. Well, my question was, like, what amount of uncertainty is okay for the school to close school down?
I don't have an opinion on this.
Okay. Julian, what did you think?
That I believe that they made the right decision because there was already a high degree of risk because there was a student at was it Pali or Gun?
I think that was after school closed, right?
No, but I think there were and then there was also the two GLF students were exposed or something. They
Oh,
didn't get
yeah.
it, but they were exposed. So I feel like at that point it was already people were being exposed. It could have spread, and I think the school should have closed earlier.
Okay. I think
Because
I
they're
agree
still
with you.
providing
Yeah.
free meals. They're still providing free meals and education to those who need it. So, I mean,
Are they?
computers. So,
Oh.
yeah, they're doing free meals, like a drive-through thing. And
Well, the concern was like not everyone has stable internet access, and like especially in other places in the county, not just Palo Alto, because Palo Alto is like sure, but maybe like East Palo Alto, a lot of people wouldn't have the same access.
I read like the guidelines, and they said they're trying to provide hotspots for those who didn't have Wi-Fi,
Oh,
and
really?
then
Okay.
also lending out computers. I was really bored, so.
Okay. Well, I agree with you. Yeah, they should have. I think they should have closed earlier. Does anyone disagree with that? Okay. So what about on like a more macro scale? Um, and now this is more about talking about the suppression of rights. Um, so let's take China and the U.S. As an example. And so first of all, we're going to ignore the fact that like China did some sketchy stuff about suppression because that's not relevant to the discussion. my question is, China's response to the coronavirus was essentially, they tried to immediately control it by like forcing everyone to go home, and like they didn't let anyone go outside and things like that. So they definitely violated a lot of civil liberties while trying to contain the coronavirus. But the upside to that is that they were also able to like control the coronavirus much faster than the US. And so the US, by not trying to violate civil liberties, and not forcing everyone to just stay home and like catching anyone who doesn't go outside or who does go outside, they caused the coronavirus to kill more people. So my question is, which approach was more ethical? And ignore like the technicalities. Just think about it in theory.
I think China was more ethical because, well, they did have civil liberties. They did put their citizens' lives first. So they were protecting their citizens, I guess, at the cost of civil liberties. But look,
Okay.
by spreading in the U.S., I believe they did make the right decision, unless you believe the stuff that's Boris Johnson sprouting. He said it's like 40 to 50 times or something, the number of cases in China.
Oh yeah. What do you two think?
I don't know. I'd say it's like really drastic to like control where every person's location is like at once. That doesn't seem very ethical, but in the end, it like saved a lot of lives.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
guess. Sorry. Go ahead.
I think like the China's way was like more effective. Like, well, even though it like violated the civil rights, but like human life first, like anything came after its second place.
Okay. Um. Okay. I think I agree with you now. So now my question is a bit different because right now it's. I think most people would answer my question by saying that like China's approach, minus the technicalities, was better than the U.S. approach. But what about like in the heat of the moment when they weren't certain if the virus would keep spreading and things like that? Because obviously you should like, for example, the U.S. issued stay at home after the saw that the virus had a huge impact. But what about if the virus only had like a 30% chance of impact or a 10% chance? Then what should they do? Should they still not risk it and violate civil liberties, or should they risk it?
I think they should risk it because China had dealt badly with the SARS. They tried to keep it quiet, and then it did end up hurting their country a lot. So I think this is kind of their way of trying to reverse that wrong.
Hmm.
They took the opposite response, and they didn't want to appear timid to the international community.
Okay. So, I mean, but there always has to be a threshold, right? Like, if it was a 1% chance, would your answer be different?
It would, yes.
So, like, I know this is like impossible to answer, but where would you draw the line? And by chance, I mean the chance to like become a big virus, as opposed to like 1,000 people getting it, and then the virus stops.
I would draw it at a 50% and above. So
Really.
That's
I'd
pretty
say
high.
like 20,
Sorry, what did you say?
I'd say like 20 because that's still like a really high chance.
Yeah, I think 50 is a huge percent chance. I don't think 50% would be. I mean, in my opinion, I think that's too high.
Yeah. Okay. That
But
does make
it's hard
sense.
to like place it exactly where. Dylan, do you have any thoughts on this?
I think like about. I think like we shouldn't take the risk unless it's like 1% or something because the virus has a percentage that it's going to change its effectiveness. So
So you think So you think that they should take the risk as long as there's like more than a tiny chance, or they
yeah.
should not take the risk? I mean, okay,
I should they sh- I don't know like well I don't know.
okay, well that's fine. Um, do you guys have any other like thoughts on the coronavirus and especially how it is related to philosophy, but also just in general? Because like I've been so bored. I've been in my house for like 20 days.
Yeah. I would say they could have chosen slightly better timing because the Gun Theater performance, it was literally opening night, and then they had to cancel the whole thing.
Oh yeah, I was going to national calls for debate and that got canceled, so there goes my one chance. That was really sad too. But I mean, I guess it affects everyone.
That sucks.
Yeah.
This is actually a good time because hopefully it dies down in July, so I can go to volleyball nationals.
My track season got canceled, man. It was just starting now.
Ah, that sucks.
We finished our basketball season at least, but then volleyball season got canceled.
Yeah, we didn't even get to play a single game for badminton either, so we played one scrimmage and then team stopped. Okay, so I guess that's it for coronavirus if anyone doesn't have anything else. The second thing that I wanted to talk about was the newsletter. So Julian, I already told you about this.
Yeah.
What's that? Let me screen share. Oh, here. Okay. Do you guys see the newsletter right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So essentially what I was thinking is it would be cool if the Teen Civic Engagement Program created like a monthly newsletter. And so I made the first edition because I mean I thought it would be good that I worked on the first one. So essentially what I'm thinking about for the newsletter is every month we would have someone contribute like an article, or if it's a short article, I guess 2 articles from one from someone else, that's related to philosophy or related to like current events. So in this example, I wrote an essay about ineffective altruism, or actually effective altruism, from several months ago, and I just used it for this newsletter for the first edition. So I guess it's kind of lazy, but oh well. So if you all want to take a look, I can send the link later. But essentially my point is, if any of you want to contribute to the next edition of the newsletter or future editions, you can let me know because I think this is a pretty cool opportunity. I actually I emailed the library, and the library is willing to feature our thing on the library website. So if you guys are like applying to like college or something, this would be something cool to put. So who thinks they would be interested in contributing to like the second edition or beyond that for the newsletter?
Yeah, I've already started writing. I'm starting research on my John Locke Institute
Nice.
essay.
Okay.
That should be ready in some time.
Yeah. I guess take your time. I mean, let me think. The essays for the newsletter, they don't have to be this long, obviously. And they don't have to be this like quote unquote pure philosophy. They can also be, well, actually, this isn't pure philosophy. Have you guys heard of effective altruism? So effective altruism.
Yeah, I heard about it after I read it. After I read your article.
So essentially, just to summarize it, it's saying that when people donate money, they have to donate money to the most effective possible cause. Otherwise, they're wasting their money, and they shouldn't. And they should, like, I guess, not do that. So it's saying that when you donate, you should research first, like, which organizations are the most effective, and there's like a number of criteria on what they mean by effective, and then you should only donate money to them and not to anyone else. And then my essay argues why that's kind of stupid because, well, there's a lot of issues with it. Oh, someone new. Wait 1 sec. How do I? Hey, Austin. Can you hear us? Hello? Okay, I'll just continue. Austin, you can feel free to unmute if you want. So yeah, does anyone have any questions on the newsletter? Like what its format is, if you think you might want to contribute? It wouldn't take too long, and there's plenty of topics that are interesting. I mean, you can write about anything you're interested in, essentially. Okay, well, if you're interested, I guess let me know. So that's just a quick update. The third quick update thing before we actually get into the meat of the meeting is the John Locke Institute thing. I know that I've already gone over this with Dylan, and I've also gone over it with Julian. But for the other two of you, there's this. Have you guys seen the John Locke Institute essay contest before?
No.
Okay. Let me send a link actually then. And we're not going to discuss this a lot. I'll just send you a link in case you're interested. How do I send something? Sorry, I'm very inept with Zoom.
Send in the chat.
Oh, here.
Down
Okay.
below.
Yeah. So, do
Uh,
you see it?
Yeah, it worked.
Okay. So this is like a philosophy essay contest, and every year they release like 30 or so questions, and you can choose one and answer it in an essay. And it's due in like July or August. And you can win prizes, I guess. So last year I entered this and I got a commendation. So I think it would be cool if y'all wanted to enter this. There's a lot of different questions that are like interesting to different people. So there's probably something that you're interested in. And if you were to enter this, you could definitely use the essay for the newsletter. So I guess you guys, Austin and Kyle, you guys can read through it if you're interested, and then let me know if you have questions, because we're not going to go over it right now. Okay. Any questions so far about anything we've talked about? All right, awesome. So for this first meeting, we're just going to be going over some more cool ethical dilemmas, more cool ethical cases from the high school ethics bowl. And it's not necessarily like going to be like this every meeting, but this is what we're going to do in the first meeting. Let me share screen again. Okay, would you guys rather do something related to an unpaid grocery store item, climate change, or digital privacy?
What was the first option?
Climate change.
Climate change, okay. It was an unpaid item in a grocery store, so that's kind of like a trivial one, but it's quite interesting. Climate change and then digital privacy. We're probably going to do two of these, so
Digital privacy?
Yeah,
Digital
digital
privacy.
privacy sounds interesting.
okay. Which one should we do, climate change or privacy?
Climate change.
Okay, I mean, we could probably do both. Let's start with climate change then. So there. Do you guys see it? Can you guys see my shared screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I'm sure you guys have probably seen this before, so, but not this exact case. So I guess just read it real quick. Let me know when you're done.
I'm done.
Anyone not done?
Done.
Austin, are you?
I'm done too.
Okay. So the question is, who should be paying for climate change and how should we deal with it? So we can tackle the first one first. Who should be dealing with it? Can you,
The countries have a disproportionate impact.
what do you mean by disproportionate?
Well, you could say that maybe they pollute more per capita than other countries.
Okay.
Emissions are more per capita.
Okay. So why per capita rather than like based on the strength of the economy, or inverse based on the strength of the economy, or something like land size?
Well,